Good to see you. Thank you for giving me President's Day off. Today is a
Yep.
Tuesday.
And we're here. We're on a Tuesday. We're recording. You always love a good Monday holiday. It's weird how all these holidays fall on a Monday, and you just want off. You just want to take the day off.
Yeah, Mike doesn't like to give me the day off when my company gives me the day off, and it's like, let's match these up, guys. Let's have the same company day off as the podcast day off. And yesterday was one of them. But I'll tell you, I got hit with a triple option this weekend in
Triple option.
Connecticut in the Northeast. I had snow all day Saturday,
Okay.
rain all day Sunday, epic wind all day Monday.
Ooh.
That was my 3-day weekend in the Northeast. It's been terrible.
I was in Denver. I
Yeah.
got hit with a lot of snow as well. Driving in snow, not as fun.
Did you
Was
spin
that a little?
out?
I spun out in some icy snow. Played a little pond hockey tournament. A lot of fun. Yeah, definitely. Like this is what you do now when you're old, right? You just go and play a tournament with some guys and have some beers. Like the most hockey bro situation I've ever been in. It's just like all these ages, like from 18 to like 50. It
That's
was great.
awesome. Not
Yeah.
everyone your age, and you're pretty old. You had a recent birthday. No, not everyone your age is still an athlete going out to do pond hockey. So tell us, what was it like skating on the ice?
Well, it's fun because you never get you always skate indoors. You're always indoors skating. You're never outdoors skating. So I think that was the fun of it. My hands were freezing. Should have brought hand warmers. It was worse than like skiing because when you're skiing, you're ready. You got all your gear. You know what to bring. And I'm playing hockey outside in 10-degree weather at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's freezing. Your hands are icy cold when you're trying to tie your laces. But it was fun. But it was definitely like I was unprepared for how cold it actually was going to be. So
And
it
you're
was
in
good.
LA, so you don't experience much of that. Any
Yeah.
close calls? Was the ice breaking at any point? Did anyone have a slap shot a little too hard and maybe send a teammate down the hatch?
No, it was so basically like 30 rinks were set up on this pond. So there was no slap shots, no shots above the hip or something. Keep it
But
low, no
Mike, isn't that
goalie.
your shot?
It is my shot, yeah. So a lot of shots were not going in the right
Oh
direction.
no.
But it was fun. There was like a weird couple that got married on the ice, which was weird. But it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Definitely a long weekend. I feel like it could have been condensed into one day, but yeah, 3 days of hockey. So a lot of hockey.
And you saw listeners of the pod, the lawyer friend,
Yeah.
the meme friend. You saw them all.
Yeah. Saw them all. We got drunk, hung out. It was good. Yeah. It was a good time.
That's great. So I was
Yeah.
inside all weekend, as I mentioned, the weather, watching SNL 50, Mike. It was the
Yeah.
best event of the weekend. We're not talking NBA All-Star Game to lead this show. It's SNL 50. Did you catch any of it? I know you're still coming back from your trip.
So we watched about half of it last night. It was like 2.5 hours without commercials. I think like 3.5 with
Yeah,
commercials
three and
or
a
something.
half with commercials, and that was Sunday night, and then there was a
Yeah.
concert that is also worth watching. That was
I
from
know.
Friday night. Have you watched the concert yet?
Have not watched that. We just watched SNL, just the 50th. It was pretty good. I felt like they didn't invite everybody in. It was weird. It feels like they selected some people, but not all.
I
Like
think
Bill
they
Hader
invited
wasn't there.
everyone. Bill Hader apparently chose not to go because he has such bad anxiety from doing the show, I read. So no
Yeah.
Stefan. But there was a lot of legends there. I thought the
Sure.
highlights were Eddie Murphy, Adam Sandler, and Will Ferrell. If you're going to put a Mount Rushmore of SNL, I don't know who the fourth is, but those three better be on it. And they all delivered in this SNL 50. And that was like the highlight for me. There was a lot of, honestly, misses, a lot of like sketches that seemed like they were written that week, like not
Yeah.
very
Well, they felt a
funny.
little long. It's like some of them I felt like the first few felt really long. It's like we don't need to do a 15-minute Black Jeopardy segment, even though like Eddie Murphy was there playing
Tracy
Tracy
Morgan, that
Morgan,
was
which
one of
was
the best moments,
that
wasn't
was
it?
yeah, that was pretty good. He nailed it too.
He did in a crazy
Full
way.
cheese lasagna.
They
Yeah.
kind of made that sketch weird when they brought Tom Hanks in. They kind of like butchered that. I didn't understand.
Yeah, it felt a little off. I guess maybe he was like a character from previous Black Jeopardy. I don't
Yeah,
know. But it felt really weird. I felt like just Eddie Murphy playing Tracy Morgan could have been the whole thing and I would have been fine with it.
totally agree. We needed like more of that to happen.
Yeah.
A conspiracy theory: when Chris Rock came
Oh,
out to
yeah.
host, Eddie Murphy left and Tom Hanks came in. Is there beef between Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy where Eddie left when Chris Rock came in the sketch?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's so many
Conspiracy
weird
theory.
things going on there, like Pete
There
Davidson
is a
and,
lot
and
of weird
Kim, and
things.
then Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, all that drama, and like that weird stand-up part where there was like anything going on, Ryan, and no, it was weird.
It
It was
was
a lot
weird.
of weird.
One of my best parts though was every time they showed the crowd, like during the
Yeah,
Tina and Amy, like the back and forth, the Q&A with
yeah,
the
the
crowd. The
questions.
crowd shots are incredible. There's random Kevin Costner, Robert De Niro,
Yeah,
Seinfeld, and Larry David. It's like every celebrity is in that one building. I
Yeah.
can't imagine like the security for that. Obviously, Mike, my badge works for that building. I could have
Whoa.
like been roaming the
Should have
halls.
just
That
been
would have
there.
been crazy. I was like, how do
Yeah.
I get involved in this? But I didn't. It was raining, as I mentioned, all day Sunday, so
Yeah.
it didn't go down. Great show, but back to the concert. That concert from Friday night is actually, I think, better than SNL 50.
Wow.
The musical acts were incredible, and I'm not the biggest music person in the world, but I'm talking about Cher. Post Malone brought back the Nirvana band. That was crazy. The
Yeah, I saw clips.
B-52s, the Burns, David Byrne and his wife Robin, apparently they're married. They were incredible. Eddie Vedder as Tom Petty. I mean, the music acts won the whole SNL 50 weekend for me.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. And then I guess the next question is, who's taking Lauren's place, right? Like, it's always like, oh, he's going to retire. Who's going to take over? Does the show continue? I don't know. Like, at this point, is he really like keeping the show alive? Like, I'm sure other people, like, he's not there every day like he used to be, right?
I
Like,
think he
there's
really
no,
is. I think he's really running it like he is still the boss because no one runs it like him. And I think it would fall apart
Yeah.
without him unless you put a serious person in, like, I don't know,
Like
Seth
Tina.
Meyers, Tina Fey, one of the big heavy hitters. And that's what he did for this special show is he brought these guys back to write it. I know Seth and Adam Sandler and Tina Fey, all the favorites, were writing all the sketches. So we'll see if one of them takes over. The thing about Lauren that I didn't like is he never seemed happy the whole time.
Is
He
that his
just
vibe?
never smiled. He kind of clapped a few times. Every time they
Yeah.
showed him, he just wasn't like enjoying the moment like you would think. Like, dude, this is your life's work. This is 50 years, one of the most entertaining shows in TV history, one of the biggest
Yeah.
TV events in history. And he's just like clapping like it's another Saturday night. And I just thought I could have used a little more emotion from him.
Well, it was weird that he was also in the stands, right? Instead of behind the scenes. So I think he was trying to enjoy it as like a fan.
Which is nice. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Because he's normally under the bleachers, apparently, calling the shots. Do you have any favorite SNL sketches before we move off of this? Over time, over history?
I
have a
mean,
few.
I think the one that just like stands out is Californians. Like
That's
California. Like
That's
that's one of the best ones.
Kristen Wiig is hilarious. And they
Yeah.
did that in SNL 40 when Bill Hader was there,
Yeah.
but they couldn't do it without Bill Hader this time.
Yeah, and I wish sometimes they would just bring back some of the bits even without the characters, because I think that would still make it even funnier in a way where it's like try to do the Californians and this is like the Californians somewhere else. Because I thought that was a great one. God, yeah, I can't even think of some other ones that I like, but that one just stands out. Like that felt like a moment where it was pretty popular.
One of my favorites too. They're now doing the Californians in a Volkswagen commercial.
saw
That
that.
one is not work quite the same, but it's a fun idea. I thought Lady Gaga with Lonely Island, Dick in a Box was great. So Dick in a Box is obviously one of the icons
Yep.
from the show. The other ones that I thought were missing were Kristen Wiig as Target Lady. I always loved her as Target Lady. Kristen Wiig was there. She did the little short arm girl, but not
Yeah,
the
yeah. That
whatever
was
you
pretty
call
good.
that. That was pretty good. That's like a classic too. And then Tracy Morgan, he was in Black Jeopardy. What my favorite sketch ever growing up as a kid was Brian Fellows' Animal Planet, if you remember that one.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to bring that back, and it just didn't happen. Maybe Tracy's not all the way back, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's just like, you've been watching it since you can kind of remember. At least I have. I mean, it's a great show, and yeah, it's weird how many celebrities came out of it. It's almost like a breeding ground. But I also feel like this cast is not gonna be as memorable. Like I feel like this cast you could erase everybody, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like bring back, who I don't know, just have a new cast.
Except
next
Kenan
year.
Thompson, because he's never leaving.
Kenan.
He's never ever leaving the show. But Lauren
Yeah.
had a great quote which hit for me. I'm sure you would agree. The current cast when you are a kid is your favorite cast of all time. And I think that holds up for everyone. No one says like the current cast is better than like the old school cast. I think
Yeah.
even people born in the 70s and watching those shows would say that was the best compared to the Kristen Wiggs that we love. So you never.
Yeah, but I almost don't you think like they don't have. I felt like back in the day you'd always like, oh, the Californians are going to do Californians this week or whatever. They do it like 3 times a season or something.
Yeah.
They don't do that now. It's like Domingo was like the one thing that they brought back, which is like it's funny, but it just like takes so long to get to like the punchline sometimes. Yeah, I don't. They don't have the recurring things, which I think that's what spun off like Will Ferrell doing like not Saturday Night Live, whatever it's called. What's that? The Night of the Roxbury.
MacGruber was a spinoff.
MacGruber,
movie,
but that was a pretty bad movie.
It was.
But like stuff like that where they're
Yeah.
making these characters and then they spin them off to other stuff.
Well, media
I
has
just wish-
changed. Media's proliferated. The
Yes.
viewership is much smaller. It's been cut in half even in like the last 5 years, maybe even more than that. And so media has changed completely. So it's maybe unfair to expect that they could still have the mainstream hits like they
I
used
agree.
to, but still pretty solid. And for a live show, both the concert and the show, both 3
I gotta watch the
hours,
concert.
to pull that off. Watch the concert. We'll recap that next week.
Real quick, let's talk Magic Mind.
Let's do it.
Jeremy, Magic Mind, lifesaver over the weekend. I was in Denver. You got the altitude. You're waking up. You got that extra. It's an hour ahead, so you're waking up early. It's tough to wake up early. You're waking up at 6 o'clock West Coast time, but really it's 5 o'clock or whatever. It was tough. I was using Magic Mind. Brought my little Magic Mind with me. The shots, they're amazing. You can bring them on the plane with you. Take them over there. I used them every morning. It was a lifesaver because guess what? Can't find coffee at 5 o'clock in the morning. Hotel coffee lobbies are not open. You can just get
Magic Mind open 24/7.
open 24/7. It was a lifesaver. I love it. It's easy, and it got me. I was scoring goals out there. We were winning games.
Wow.
We went 3-1 the weekend. It was a great weekend in pond hockey. Magic Mind for the save. I loved it. If you want to get 20% off your first time purchase, go to magicmind.com/TSH, or if you want to subscribe, you get 48% off your first subscription. Get it. It's amazing. I love it. And it works, and you can travel with it. That's the best thing. Traveling with it and just having that, knowing that you're going to be able to get a little caffeine and like smooth energy. It's the best.
Mike, I know it works. My boss, I told you right before the show, had a baby this weekend. I got all this work piling up. And normally I do the Magic Mind on Monday to get my week started. Not when Monday's a holiday. Today was a Tuesday Magic Mind day.
Magic Mind.
I was dominating my 9 a.m. meeting on Magic Mind, had the day started. It's without that jittery feeling you have. Sometimes coffee will get you a little too fired up. Magic Mind keeps you calm but alert, and that's what we love about it.
We do love it. All right, go to magicmind.com/TSH, get the 20% off one-time purchase or 48% off the first subscription. Jeremy, I wrote down one note here, and I said, I know how to fix the NBA. But before we get to that...
Wait, the whole league or the All-Star game?
The All-Star game. I know how to fix it. I figured it out.
Okay.
But first I want to talk about the Four Nations, the hockey Four Nations face-off. I was in Denver playing hockey, watching USA-Canada Saturday night. When no friends wanted to come out and hang out with me Saturday night, I decided
where was Lawyer Friend?
Lawyer Friend was busy, so I was in the hotel room watching some hockey, getting some room service. It was very nice.
Ooh, room service is so nice to splurge on. It's never actually worth it, but just the convenience is amazing.
Yeah, it's just like whatever. You're gonna pay a little extra for that burger, but it's in your room. I was watching the hockey game. I thought it was great. I thought it was genius of how they did it. It seemed like everybody in the world started watching hockey this weekend. And I love the passion. It was just like USA versus Canada. Canada booing us in Montreal, the national anthem, got everybody fired up.
Yeah.
It was a great game. And
Fights right away?
What?
There's a fight right away, right?
Yeah, there's 3 fights in the first 10 seconds of the game. The Canadians just booing USA really started it, I feel like. But also there was a group chat, I guess, with some of the guys, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fight right away when the puck drops," which was even better. They planned the fight.
Yeah.
I hope you watched a little bit of this hockey.
I didn't watch.
Okay,
I knew it was happening, and people were buzzing about it. And maybe I'll watch the Thursday game winner. Is there a gold medal? What are we calling the winner of this thing?
Just the winner of the Four Nations. And USA is playing Canada, I think, on Thursday night. I'm excited to watch it.
In Boston, there's no booing USA here.
No,
right?
maybe booing the Canadian national
Yeah,
anthem.
we'll boo them.
Yeah,
Boo
the 51st state.
Especially if Trump gets in there.
But yeah,
I'm glad they came up with something different. So what I would say is last week, coming out of the NFL, the Super Bowl, it's like, okay, NBA, what are you doing? NHL, what are you doing? I was a little caught off guard how both leagues said, nah, we're not doing our normal thing when all eyes are on us. Like both leagues took a beat from their normal schedule right after the Super Bowl when all eyes are on them. The NHL dominated and the NBA didn't. Clearly, the NHL got the attention and they did it with the country versus country thing, and it totally worked. And the NBA, I'm very curious to hear your idea to save All-Star Weekend because it's on a different network next year. It's all these different things. So a lot of people are listening to this, Mike.
I'm ready to solve the issue here. So I have 2 ideas. I'll start with my not the best one, but I think this could also work. I want to do kind of a WWE style King of the Ring, maybe a one-on-one round robin, and you get crowned the king of the court. You are the one-on-one, kind of like and one. Remember when it was just like one-on-one games you used to play?
Yeah.
That's what I want. Maybe put it up there, just random. Now, I did say it could be weight class or height because you don't want to play Wemby and you're Chris Paul. Like, that's not fair. So you got to do like maybe centers against each other and then kind of crown the king of the court on each different height or weight class or something kind of like boxing.
I
I
like
would
that
say.
idea. Maybe height is the best for basketball. Like you
Yeah.
said, Wemby and Chris Paul can't be together. Wemby's kind of skinny, so he doesn't weigh that much. I love the idea
Yeah.
of separating them by height. So it's a one-on-one tournament. Guys were talking about that this weekend. Giannis said he'd be into
Yeah.
it. Some of the stars that didn't even play in the game, like LeBron, said they'd be into one-on-one.
Yeah. And I guess the thing is, it's like we saw the NHL or the NHL players all play in the nation game and they all cared. Everybody had passion. You saw the guys fighting for God knows absolutely nothing except for passion and for the country, I guess.
Yeah.
Which was great. But you watch the NBA All-Star game, you see Chris Paul just fucking throwing balls like, oh, I don't want to make these shots. Like, I'm just going to run through it. No one watched it. Here's the other solution, Jeremy. USA versus the world, NBA. You get your top, whatever, 16 guys. You can fill whatever. Get 20 guys on each side and play USA versus the world. Now, I don't think that's fair to the US, but it would be kind of fun to see USA versus the world.
I mean, the U.S. is Steph Curry and LeBron. Don't feel bad for the U.S. Anthony Edwards.
They're old.
They're right there. They're
They're
old.
old.
We need the next generation to step up. Come on, Anthony Edwards. Be more like Michael Jordan.
And it is kind of like the Olympics, but you could do USA versus the world. I think that'd be a fun way of like having a competition. You could do, best of 3 or something. And I just feel like NBA is more for the money. Like, let's stretch this out for 2 weeks or something. And that could work, but I just don't know. I don't know how to really fix it because I didn't care. These are the only 2 ways where I'm like, oh, LeBron's going to go one-on-one against like 10 guys to be crowned the king of the court. Like, I would watch that. Like,
I
first
love the one-on-one
7.
tournament, and I love the data that we've seen. We've seen it in the Olympics, like you said. The guys were elite in Paris. It was going
Yeah.
off the chain with Steph Curry draining threes to win a gold medal. Of course, the NBA All-Star Game is not a gold medal, but you can put money in this. You can put something in it
But
that
money
makes it matter.
money doesn't matter unless you're the guy doing the dunk contest where you get paid triple.
Because he's played 5 NBA games and won 3 dunk contests.
Yeah. So like, yes, it matters to that guy, but
Yeah.
guess what? Steph and LeBron and Giannis and all these guys they're not going to care about $100,000. Like that doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter to me. It's like, I don't care if they win $100,000. Like give me more.
What can matter internationally? It's not an Olympic gold medal, so it's not that. But what can matter on that scale? Like, of course, it's the countries playing each other, but like USA, Canada, and hockey, do they win some bragging rights? Like, what can the winning team get that means it matters?
I feel like just the nation's pride. It's like the Olympic gold medal. Like, you won and you could just start a whole new series. I mean, they did the in-game tournament for NBA. It's like,
Well, Adam Silver loves his tournaments, right? He had a little
He
mini
does.
All-Star game tournament in one day
Yeah.
on Sunday with 4
Yeah.
games.
so do a tournament, give them fucking gold medals and you're the champion of the world or whatever. Like they could do that, but yeah, they just need more. They need something to care about. And you could tell no one really cared about it. They were just there. And
I agree with you. Less Kevin Hart would always be a great idea.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
just in
He's all
general.
over the
In life.
place.
That's in life rule, not just an NBA All-Star rule.
he's everywhere.
Less of him would be good.
him and
I-
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg was at the SNL thing. He's fine.
And Snoop Dogg's literally everywhere.
He's Mr. NBC.
know.
The thing about what you nailed it on is the international side of it. It's
Yeah.
worked in the Olympics. It worked in hockey. It's the only way to go forward in the NBA All-Star format. I don't know if players don't want to do it for whatever reason, either side. It's the only way to actually succeed and get the passion to matter. Otherwise, they're not going to care. You're right. The money really doesn't matter to these guys. I heard on Bill Simmons' podcast, his idea was the winning team gets $250,000
Doesn't
each.
matter.
Most of those guys, except for Mac McClung, to your point, Steph
Yeah.
Curry doesn't give a shit about $250,000. So there's got to be a better way. I think pitting the nationalities against each other would do it. And the one-on-one tournament, I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere, but that would be amazing.
And is this the turn where NHL starts getting more ratings than the NBA? Because it feels like there's a shift where everybody's like, even Draymond's like, oh, the NBA on court stuff, like it's not a good, it's not fun to watch anymore. What's going on? Is this the shift? Are we seeing like, oh, people are going to be more into hockey, or is it like, oh, they're kind of equal now? with
Only
NBA
you could
and
ask
NHL?
that question, Mike. If NHL is going to overtake NBA, NBA is doing fine around the
Sure.
world. It's the idea that here in America, the TV ratings are down a little bit. But that's why Adam Silver told the Mavs to trade Luka to the Lakers to fix it. And I watched Luka's first game last week. It was so exciting. It's like I'm on board even from across the country. And it's true. Like I'm in on the Lakers. I'm now in on the Western Conference as I normally am. I'm here on the East Coast. I'm going to watch
Hard to
Eastern
watch the
Conference
games.
playoffs too. I know. Playoffs are coming. They're coming soon in a few months. And I'm excited for it.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it all. I think this was a great week. I'm excited for the Four Nations game, the final championship game on
Who's gonna
Thursday.
win?
I hope the U.S. wins. I mean,
Who's
this
a better
is
team?
maybe Trump will show up there, and he's showing up everywhere. Daytona, showing up, driving around on the racetrack, just wild shit.
That's true. He is all over the place. One more NBA note
Yeah.
before we wrap up that portion. A shout out to Phoenix Suns owner Nat Ishbia. They did not trade Kevin Durant. They did not add to their team at the trade deadline. But what they did do, Mike, is one of our favorite things. They announced new family-focused concession pricing. $2 hot dogs, $2 waters, $2 sodas, $2 chips, $2 popcorn. If you go to a Phoenix Suns game, I might drive my ass to Phoenix just to go pay. You could pay $24 for 4 hot dogs, 4 waters, and 4 popcorns. That used to cost $98 at a Suns game.
Well, I was going to say,
this year it's 24.
At Crypto Staples Center, you get 1 beer, it's $24. Like from the and no one's even helping you check out anymore. You just go into a room and they scan you and you walk out and your credit card charges.
Scan your card without dropping it. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like no one's even talking to you anymore.
Well, you gotta go to Phoenix for your NBA games.
Maybe we go to Phoenix. We got to go somewhere to get you out of that cold soon. It's I don't know how you're dealing with it.
That's true. You did 4 days of it, and you never want to go back.
I never want to go. Yeah, I was like, how do you live in this like gray depression?
Why does anyone live in this? But they all do. It's crazy.
I know it is crazy. Well, good for the Phoenix Suns. LA will never do that. Now we have too many NBA teams, hockey teams, football teams, and concessions are very expensive. Unless you buy them outside the stadium.
That's true. LeBron, maybe he'll stick around the rest of the season, maybe not much longer. So we'll see what the offseason brings to the Lakers. I don't know, Mike. It's mid-February. We're still 2 months away from NBA, NHL playoffs. March Madness we used to care about. We don't make brackets anymore. No. I don't know what to care about in the next few months, honestly.
We just need something to pop here. Maybe we can start talking about like crypto or something else. Maybe just gambling on some. Is women's basketball spinning up soon? When do they go?
WNBA goes after, but college is playing.
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do a bracket. We gotta win. We gotta gamble a little bit. We can't just like leave the account cold.
I know.
Check out thesportshangover.com. Follow us there. Go to Substack. We're on Substack. You can get a little written blog about the whole podcast in your newsletter with video. Follow us on YouTube, The Sports Hangover, and if you want some Magic Mind, go to magicmind.com/The Sports Hangover, TSH, for 20% off and 48% off your first subscription. That's a great deal.
That's a great deal. We should do that.
All right. See ya. That was good.
I didn't know you had an idea.